It is time for our Night of Champions predictions, and the match card has shaken up in the last couple of days. The first match on the card is going to be the newly added Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross, finally. So I'm a fan of Karrion Kross. Maybe you are, maybe you're not, and that's okay. But for me, I am excited to finally see this match. I'm excited to see a Karrion Kross match, like on a PLE, on televised television thing, not just on main event. This is going to be great. Good for him. He's been toying with Sami Zayn, feels like forever, and it's finally going to culminate. I think that because we heard that Dom Mysterio is in fact injured, he's not having the IC title match against AJ Styles at Night of Champions, they added this match in. Because to be honest, this does feel like it was going to be just on a Raw. For this match, I am gonna say Sami Zayn wins. Do I want that to happen? No, I really want Karrion Kross to win. I do, but I don't see it happening. Sami Zayn is beloved in Saudi Arabia. It is kind of an excuse in my eyes to get Sami on the card so they can have a nice feel-good moment when he triumphantly defeats Karrion Kross for messing with him for so very long. Do I think that's the right decision? No. And if you guys checked out my Raw review, cheap plug, but I did say in there that I don't feel like Karrion Kross is going to be in any position to get cheered unless he was in the States. Like if he was at home, or if they were in Chicago or some other venue for Night of Champions, that's where I think the crowd would be split or really cheering for Kross. In Saudi Arabia, they're gonna be loving Sami. I gotta think that this is gonna end in just a haluva kick and Sami's going to win. What's next for Karrion Kross after that? I don't know. Do they continue the feud on TV? Kinda hope so. It's something for Kross to do, but otherwise, does he just move on? Does Karrion Kross just move on and start messing with somebody else? I want more for the guy, but this is gonna be important. It really is, because if you are somebody that's followed Karrion Kross for the last 6 months to a year, you know that you've been waiting to see if WWE is gonna pull the trigger on him. He kinda needs to deliver in the ring. Now, maybe we'll get a surprise. Maybe they will surprise us and have Kross beat Sami Zayn, because if they did, that gets way more heat onto Kross. That gives him something to work with coming out of Night of Champions. If Sami, so that's the thing, so that's where I start flip-flopping a little bit like a dingus, because if Kross wins, he gets to do way more. Sami doesn't need the win. Sami can pick up a victory the following week. But because it's in Saudi, I'm still going, it's gonna be Sami. The next match, newly added match, by the way, to the card, because Raw did a lot of different things here. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez in a street fight. They got the big table spot on Monday Night Raw where Raquel threw Rhea Ripley through the table. You had Roxanne getting involved as well. This, I think, is just gonna be a lot of fun. It's like a year ago Judgment Day storyline, isn't it? Where Rhea was having to battle everybody like Liv, and then Raquel showed up. They got Dom involved in a Shark Tank, things like that. This, I feel like, because it's a street fight, you got no rules, no disqualifications. You're gonna get the table spot. This is gonna be, by the way, this is gonna be Ad City. You want a bold prediction? Ad City, brother. This match is gonna be sponsored by everybody. There's gonna be stickers on the chairs and the tables, sledgehammers with stickers on them, every logo possible in a street fight, because every weapon can get a logo thrown on there. Who needs the win? Raquel, I think, needs the win here to look amazingly strong. Will she? Yeah, I am gonna go with Rhea Ripley is going to beat Raquel. However, I do think that they should have some involvement with Roxanne, just like they did with the spot on Raw. If Roxanne can get in there and help Raquel, it furthers their relationship. They already looked like buddies at the end of that segment on Raw. It's Rhea Ripley, it's Saudi Arabia. They're gonna keep Rhea strong. So I think that Rhea can ultimately, she'll win the match, but maybe there's gonna be the post-match angle where we see Rhea getting beaten down even more by Roxanne and Raquel. And then what you could do is you have Nikki Bella show up and she could get involved. Hear me out, because you were probably supposed to get Liv versus Nikki at Evolution, or you were gonna get Liv and Raquel in a tag match against Nikki and Brie Bella, with Brie making a return. Brie mode. I hate that so very much. But because Liv is out of the picture right now because of her injury, one way I can see WWE pivoting and giving Rhea something to do at Evolution, I wonder if they could do Roxanne and Raquel teaming up to go up against Nikki Bella and Rhea Ripley. Rhea can do the heavy lifting in the match, Nikki can get the hot tag, they have a nice big moment. It could be for the titles, it could be non-title, but I could see them doing that as a result of what happens at Night of Champions. Rhea wins, but I think it'll be a fun match. The next match, You got the United States Championship with the champion Jacob Batu going up against his brother, and he doesn't love him anymore, Solo Sakoa. This, I hope, is going to be a lot of fun, and kind of like a couple other matches here, there could be some interference and a pretty good story beat. This, I feel, is the first kind of chapter between Jacob and Solo for their longer feud or their bigger blow-off match, I predict to happen at SummerSlam. Now, WWE could be in an interesting spot here because on the whole PLE card, I don't see a lot of title changes, if any. And with that, you maybe want to shake it up and surprise everybody. There is a possibility here, not likely, but there's a chance that Solo wins the US title. What do you think about that? You get in there and you do your little clickies and your tappies with your fingers and tell me what you think. I do wonder if they pull the trigger and put that belt on Solo. 1, a lot of fun. 2, well, you got to get there somehow. Jacob is basically undefeated. So how do you give Jacob a protective loss if that's what they do? In my eyes, you get the Tongas back on TV. Guess they're both injured. I don't know what their status is and when they would be back, other than they want to do it when it feels right. You got JC Mateo already out there, but that's one guy. And Jacob Fatu could take him out. Then you could bring back the Tongas to try and level the playing field. You also could debut Hikuleo. That would be almost the obvious pick for me. Hikuleo shows up, interferes, and costs Jacob Fatu the title. It's a full numbers game, gang warfare, all on Jacob Fatu, so you get all the heat on Solo and his revitalized bloodline crew that he's got. And it's Jacob being that lone wolf character on his own. If he gets decimated by Solo's new bloodline and loses the title, you've made him an even bigger babyface in my opinion. And then you could have the rematch of Solo and Jacob one more time at SummerSlam. Jacob could get the title back there. And Solo with the US title, I think they could have some fun with it for like 6 weeks until SummerSlam. Hikuleo comes in a big way. They already did this with JC Mateo. He showed up at Saturday night's main event, jumped the guardrail. It's classic WWE bloodline stuff. Hikuleo will show up with the black hoodie and reveal himself, not in a bad way, but to everybody in the audience. That still sounds so nasty. He will reveal himself to the audience. No, he won't. He will show up in wrestling ring and a move will happen. So I think that's possible. Simplest, cleanest way, Mateo tries to get up on the apron, Fatu nails him, and Solo tries to go for the spike, misses, Fatu hits a moonsault, and Fatu retains. If that happens, that's boring, and then you still got to keep this feud going, unless they want to push it to something on SmackDown. I'm gonna make a bold prediction here. I'm probably way wrong. I'm gonna say Solo wins the US title. I need a shakeup of some sort, and then Jacob gets it back in a couple of weeks. The Women's Queen of the Ring Finals. The winner goes on to SummerSlam to fight for belt. And now we know it's going to be Jade Cargill versus Asuka. I'm very intrigued with this match. Now, I thought Jade versus Roxanne on Raw was really good for Jade because I thought that she performed at a pretty high level. Like, I enjoyed the match. It was hard hitting. I thought Roxanne's character of trying to sneak away all the time was really clever, and that's what she should have done against Jade, who's the big powerhouse. But Asuka's a different player. They have built Asuka up very well since coming back from injury. Though this is a great position for Asuka. Now, if Asuka wins, she's going off to fight Io, which they teased on Raw. If Jade wins, then she's mixing it up with Tiffany and Naomi and everybody else over there on SmackDown. Asuka versus Io, I think, is an incredible match that I would love to see. Jade versus Tiffany, not that interesting to me. But here's what I think WWE could do. This is the fun part. I think you could have Jade win Queen of the Ring. You came this far with Jade. She's on her kind of official singles run. But there's another match happening on SmackDown before Night of Champions. You are getting Tiffany versus Nia in a rematch, last woman standing match for the WWE Women's Championship. I think that you could have Naomi cash in there. Doesn't have to be at SummerSlam. Tiffany, Nia, I know they're putting a gimmick behind this match, this title match on SmackDown, so it's gonna be fun, but I don't really care about the feud, and frankly, since coming off of WrestleMania, Tiffany hasn't done much of anything in my opinion. Feels like a lot of waiting around for the next challenger. Same with Io. I think Naomi cashes in on SmackDown in that title match at the very end. You got both women exhausted. Nia can be buried under the table and Tiffany barely gets up at 9, wins. Naomi cashes in, destroys her. Naomi wins the belt, and then you have Queen of the Ring and you have Jade win Queen of the Ring. She goes off to fight Naomi once again at SummerSlam, but they could also insert Bianca if she's ready to go, and then you get that triple threat. And I think that's a bigger and better story than Jade versus Tiffany at SummerSlam. I don't think that match with the cash in of Naomi, like that would make it fun, but Tiffany versus Jade, I don't see it. So that's my official pick, is going to be Jade wins Queen of the Ring. You contrast that if you did Asuka. Asuka could win Queen of the Ring, goes and fights Io, very clean cut, 1-to-1 match. But I think that WWE could get there anyways, and you don't need to have Queen of the Ring on Asuka. Asuka can lose, but then you have 6 weeks to build an opponent for Io. Now, who are your contenders? Well, between the next couple of weeks, you're gonna have Rhea kicking around who wants to get that title. You have Asuka that's gonna want that title. I mean, that's kind of it right now, isn't it? Before SummerSlam, we have Saturday night's main event, and we're gonna have Evolution there. Maybe Asuka and Io is at Evolution, or Rhea's in a title match. But I think that you could get into a #1 contendership match. Asuka, Rhea, and versus Io, triple threat perhaps at SummerSlam. Different ways to get there. Jade is my pick for Queen of the Ring. And then the King of the Ring. This should be a very good match, I must say. We have waited a long time to see this. Kind of wish it was for a title or had a deeper story involved. But we are gonna get Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes, King of the Ring finals. I think it's gonna be Cody. The Crossroads versus the RKO. I do like Randy's promos over the last few weeks, talking it up with Cody about how he's going to beat him, he's going to go through him despite them being really good friends. But I don't see Randy winning this thing because Randy already had the match with Cena at Backlash. He lost. To win the King of the Ring would be cool for Randy. It's that, like, he's never won King of the Ring, so it's that final accomplishment for him to then go off to fight for that title one more time. Cena versus Randy at SummerSlam. Hey, in a rematch of Backlash, that would be great, but we have just seen that match, and Cena's only got a few dates left. Don't see it happening for Randy. Could there be shenanigans involved? Maybe, but who's gonna mess with Randy and Cody? I think that's a clean-cut match, and I think it ultimately is just Randy doesn't hit the RKO, Cody reverses into a Crossroads, and Cody Rhodes wins King of the Ring. Saudi Arabia. Whenever they go to these things, Cody just keeps winning all of these crowns and belts. He won the Mega Championships last time, right? At Crown Jewel. So he's Crown Jewel champ. And then he's going to be King champ. So he's going to have all this championship from Saudi all over him. He should show up. What he should do, what Cody should do, he should walk in with his Crown Jewel championship. I know it's a different show. I don't really give a crap. But I think Cody should show up with that giant, just overzealous title belt. And then put his crown on him. Here's the question. Okay, here's a good question for all of you. What's the over-under of Cody putting on the crown at the end by Triple H? Gunther didn't put on the crown when he won King of the Ring. He held it. Does Cody put on his crown? That's what I want to know. Big predictions here. Wrestling's fun. Cody's gonna win, and he's gonna go off to fight Cena at SummerSlam. It seems like just the clearest path that they could do. And what will probably be your main event, John Cena versus CM Punk for the Undisputed Championship. I'm excited for this one. I have wanted to see this rematch for years. They're doing it. We got the big pipe bomb from John Cena on SmackDown. That was a lot of fun. Punk was asleep for like 15 minutes, so I had to sell that on the Slim Jim table. So I don't see Punk winning. I'm a Punk guy. I like the direction they're going with Cena right now. I don't think Punk can win this thing. So is the finish as simple as there's a ref bump and then Cena clocks Punk with the title belt, again, attitude adjustment or submission, and they recreate maybe even the finish to Elimination Chamber? I think they'll call that back. Maybe they'll reverse it during the match and they will have Punk putting on an STF onto Cena to get him to tap, so they recreate that moment. But ultimately, John Cena is going to retain. I hope it's not just as simple and frankly, maybe even boring of Cena clocking him with the belt like he's done for every single match, and that's it. They overbooked the Backlash finish with Randy Orton. You had R-Truth involved, you had all the security guys. So maybe they will do something like that where like, we need to make this a lot of fun. Because if Punk just loses and it's relatively clean, maybe aside from a title shot hit, he's out of the picture. What's Punk doing? Punk's gonna go what? Fight Seth at SummerSlam? I don't know. I think Cena's gonna win, hold that belt up, he's the GOAT, and then maybe Cody's music hits at the very end of Night of Champions. He comes out, and then you have the face-off between Cody and Cena. Maybe Punk's just kind of leering in the background because maybe he gets screwed at the very end, and that keeps all the tension going until SummerSlam. You never know. But do me a favor, comment below your picks for Night of Champions. Love to hear it. Subscribe to the channel if you can. We're trying to hit the 50K subs by SummerSlam. Have a great day. See ya.